Oh, it's gonna be my best performance. Welcome to the Home Assistant release party 2024.2.
Take me to your router. I like it.
Take me to your router.
Good.
So you're a kind of AI then, Paul.
This is just next level Hollywood. This is
all
right.
What the... man,
good.
This was good.
Yes.
How are you guys doing?
Up his sleeves. He's ready.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. I am super stoked. This is gonna be like, it's huge. Like we're gonna have. I hope 2 hours is enough. Like
it is, sure. Like if you do everything
lots
really quick.
Content. That's true. If we go really quick. Good. Where do we start? Let's start with introductions. Yes. Yeah. Hi, my name is Paulus Stoutse. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank, and well, I work full-time on Home Assistant.
I'm Mike Hansen, founder of Raspy and the voice guy at Nabu Casa.
The voice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sticks around, huh?
And maybe, as you know, if you see Mike, you know there's got to be voice stuff. So, what I think is actually kind of, last year with the year to voice, this year we're just cruising with voice. Like Mike's still here, Mike's still working on voice. We're still improving it, gonna get it better and better. And we've got a lot of cool new stuff around voice.
I'm telling people this is year 2 of Decade of the Voice.
Decade of the Voice. Oh, wow. That sounds actually really good.
Yeah, and we have cool stuff around automations. Tuya became better. Still cloud, but became better. What else? There's so much cool stuff.
I will, Leo. I will. We'll manage.
I think
century of the voice. I'd like to live that long. We'll see.
Century
until I get uploaded into my Apple Vision Pro.
Like Paulus. Yeah. Right.
So talking about voice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talking about voice. We're doing another stream. Chapter 6 is going to happen February 21st, which is a couple of weeks from now. And it will be really cool. So there's some cool new stuff that is coming. Some of it may be in this release, but maybe not. And some extra stuff. So definitely tune in on the 21st.
Yep, chapter 6. It's there. It's no longer called the Year of the Voice, right? That's long gone. But still, we're continuing on doing voice. I think that's important. And what you will see today actually is that, like, last year, every time I was writing the release notes, I always skipped the voice part because we would then do like the chapter 6 of the new chapter of the voice, right? And then the surprise came in. But now it's like normal. We keep developing voice, right? This will be part of our normal monthly cycle, and we keep developing stuff. Mike will keep developing stuff
and fixing things.
And fixing things. Yes, of course, fixing things. But yeah, it will be part of our normal cycle. So you will see more shout outs to voice in the normal release now too, which I think is absolutely beautiful. You will get it as soon as it's available now. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pretty sure we'll have a couple of segues. I have not prepped my screen. I was in the wrong thing, so I hope it's like, maybe I need to resize a bit or something. A little bit smaller. Can you? Yeah, I think it fits. This will work. All right. So first thing to notice, there are many icons, and to be fair, Madalena created this graphic for the last release because we had like a record number of new integrations. But this release, they don't fit all. So there are even more than we show here, which is absolutely stunning, by the way. We have 21 new integrations,
That is
which
crazy.
is crazy. It has been crazy. Talking about crazy, this release is absolutely insane. We have over 1,500 contributions in this release, which is a new record. We've set, which is thank you so much, everybody that helped out. That's amazing. Like,
That's amazing.
thank you.
Did we
Yeah.
break GitHub yet?
No, it got better. We did in the past, but this just
Yeah.
worked. To my surprise, actually, because this was a lot.
I bet they have like some if statements in their code, like, oh, if this is Home Assistant, like apply some bigger limit.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Well, we'll get to the integrations later on. Probably not each and every single one of them, because that then we'll never make that 2-hour marker.
Right.
All right. Some introductions here about the Year of the Voice, and we also have a voice contest going. So definitely check that out. The voice contest. Mike, you want to tell anything about it, or you want to save that for later?
Like I can save it for a little bit later, but I want to talk about. I could just mention briefly the categories later, and we can talk a bit about it.
Okay. And chapter 6, of course, it's linked here. You can already like check the mark and ring the bell, and you get a reminder when we go live. So that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Shall we dive in? Just like with demos and such. Let's
do some features, then we do some news, then we do some features.
Do some features. Well, let's start with the feature that everybody likes, of course, which would be drag and drop. Wait, what? What did I say? Drag and drop.
It's a year of drag and drop. Somebody already wrote in the chat.
The year of drag and drop. So this is about dragging and dropping in automation. So let me go to the automation editor, because in the automation editor we always had a drag and drop functionality there. So if you would add some conditions, let me add some fake ones. It doesn't really matter, just for the sake of it. Well, I should add 2 different ones, so it's at least something else. That's at least clear, right? So if we have 2 conditions, you could always like enable like a reorder mode. There was some menu here. I think it was on the top where you could enable reorder mode, and then like you could drag and drop it. But now, and just pick it up anytime you want.
Boom.
Boom. That's simple. I absolutely adore this. I absolutely love this little touch, because it's just there. If you like the up and down buttons more, they are still there over here in the menu. So that makes it work for somebody that uses a screen reader, for example. That's something to take into account.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. So let's say I make like these 2. I want to like combine them as a knot example. And if I would normally try to do this again, then I need to add like these all over again. But that's no more. We can now actually pick this up.
Nice.
Just drop it in there.
Nested drag and drop.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. And even take it out again if I want to. Right. It just does it, which is absolutely amazing. I think this is cool. Thank you, Paul, by the way. He just like showed up with this. But wait, there's more. We can continue. Let's say I want to do like an if-then statement here, right? In the actions that turns on the light. But I realized that condition that I used here would be better fitting in my action right here. Well, no problem at all. Here we go. Just pick it up.
Standing ovation.
And drop it.
Yes.
Standing ovation. Just pick it up. That's it. Yeah. Drop it like it's hot. Yeah, definitely.
No, this is really cool, right? Like we've been making it easier to create and easier to understand, but this like the moving things around, like especially like when you're programming, right? Like this is a little bit of programming in a way, but you're like, oh, instead of an if else, I really need to choose, or I need something else. You just want to drag and move things around, and now you can just do that super quick without having to jump into YAML and do some advanced moves.
that doesn't work, which makes sense because it's an action.
Yeah.
So it actually tells you where you can drop it or not, right? That's cool, actually. Didn't realize that. Makes sense. Made tons of sense, though. Yeah. Dragging and dropping in automations.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, there's people asking if it works in the Apple Vision Pro. Like, I just use my mouse in the Apple Vision. Yeah, everything works.
Everything works because you have a mouse like with your hands or something? How does that
No, you can look at things and then you hold it and then you have to look somewhere else. That doesn't. I was able to grab the slider, switch slider, but basically the browser touch targets are a little bit too small. But if I just have my mouse and keyboard connected to my Mac, that works in my Vision Pro. So that's actually what I did here. I just had a browser window floating above my light, just like with a big button.
A big button you can grab, yeah.
I mean, the Home Assistant app for iPad just works on your Vision Pro. So you can send notifications, you get data out, in and out, and stuff. Like, it's really just an iPad on your face. That's how you have to think of it. But then with many apps just around you. So it's been fun. Let's just say, I don't know if it's like the biggest productivity winner killer tool, but I'm having fun.
Good. I'm disabling some of my voice stuff, by the way. I'm not sure if I'm still like clear and such. Somebody's complaining that's part of my voice cuts off in the end. So
I haven't noticed.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't really listening.
Well, thank you. Darn it. All right. I want to dive in something you built, Paulus, because you have been contributing to.
I have built a feature,
and
yes.
Yeah, and I want to introduce it a little bit because like Paulus has been building something, and this is about data, and he has built like the magical thing that will excel like Home Assistant instantly.
This is the next level. Yes,
this is next level stuff, and well, take it away. This is amazing. No, I think, by the way, for real, without joking, I think this is cool.
Ladies and gentlemen. No, so as you know,
Jesus.
We
so messy.
With Home Assistant, right? We were like it's always open, right? It's an open data. Like, we collect all your data, but we don't hold it as a silo. If you look at like Google, Amazon, you can get a lot of data into their systems, but you can only get it out through Amazon's app or Google's app or Apple's app or these kind of things. And so that's kind of annoying, right? Because you want to look at your own data. So Home Assistant has always been very open, right? Like, full APIs. Home Assistant has no internal privilege APIs. Like, any app can build on top. Node-RED, PyScript, AppDaemon. There's a bunch of automation engines. There's a bunch of dashboards people build, different apps. But we forgot one person, which is the user. Like, if as user you actually want to get your data out, you had to make an API call. And it was like, it's possible to make an API call. Like, obviously, you can make an app. You can write your own API call. It is just more cumbersome. And there's actually a lot of people that know Excel, but they don't know how to make API calls. So what if we could like reach out to those people and help them look at the data? So boom, boom. We added two, not just one. We added two amazing features. And I'm just going to share my screen. And actually what I'm sharing right now, this is my my dashboard that I just use to track all the heating in my house. And so it just, for every different areas, I track the temperature. It's ESP home based, so I can like mutate the current temperature. And so based on like, hey, do we like the top floor, the bottom floor has to be like, or which one has to be taken into consideration. I track how long the heating has been on today, how long it's been yesterday. This one is actually really cool because you can see if you go to the history panel over a period of time, like this month, like how much heating you've done every day, which is kind of cool. But there's the new feature. Maybe you already see it. This is a graph of my climate. So you can see when it was heating. You can see the current temperature, target temperature, temperature outside. But here is a new button. It is take me to the history panel with the entity selected that you have used in your graph here. So you click here. You're going to get the same graph, but bigger. It also, if you say, I want to see this month. Boom, you actually see all your data from this month, and it will just include like everything, right? Now, of course, maybe you're like me and you're trying to like figure out which rooms are heating up faster than other rooms and how fast they're cooling down. Once you stop heating, you might want to analyze this data outside of Home Assistant. And that's possible now because we have a brand new download button. You click the button, you get all the data points that you see on your screen that were used to make this graph in a beautiful CSV file. You can then use that CSV file in Excel or maybe some Python app script, whatever, and
Google Sheets.
Yeah. Google Sheets, yeah. So it's really cool. And because we have the long-term statistics, right, we don't throw data out anymore, right? We have data over like rolled up into like an hour statistic for like, as long as possible. We don't throw that out. Like we throw out the granular data after 10 days. By default, you can change that. But it means that, you can just get all your sensor data of like 2 years and just download it. Boom, one time. Not a problem at all. So yes, that's the big new feature.
You know what I really like about this? Like, this is your data and it's already there. It's already local. You have it. It's already private, right? It's not anywhere else. It's just your data already. And you can now just like get it.
Boom. Like James says, this is freaking awesome. Thanks, James.
And I truly wonder, like, I'm so happy that you created, but I've been asking myself, like, what took this so long?
Actually, I have no idea.
How did nobody ever thought of like, let's add a CSV download somewhere?
Yeah. No, I have no idea why it took so long. It's actually interesting because it's such a. It didn't take long to add, right? It's like
It's a fairly small feature. The data is already there. It's just another format, right? And but just that simple but handy. Exactly, Kingo. Exactly.
So let's share with us if you do cool stuff. If you make like some killer Excel spreadsheet that just accepts like a CSV format of like your sensors and does like a bunch of analysis, share it with us. I would love to highlight that in our newsletter kind of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. What shall we dive into? We have quite a bunch of topics. We have a couple of assist/voice related topics left. We can talk about Matter, and we have something about like I don't know. A lot.
Why don't we start with a small mini announcement? We are gonna host State of the Open Home again. So for the people that are paying very close attention, you might have noticed last year we did not do a State of the Open Home, which was for the first time since 2018 or something that we didn't do one. That was because we realized it's always so close next to our birthday, and then basically we want to do something cool, and then after our birthday, which is in September, we have to like work so hard to like get the State of the Open Home going. And if we wanted to meet up again in person, it was like so much. So we were like, you know what? Why don't we push it to in the beginning of the year? Because if we do it in the beginning of the year, we don't really have any big event. There's no Hacktoberfest. There is no birthday. There is no all these kind of
December.
things, right? Yeah, and generally, supposedly, contributions should also slow a bit down, so giving us a bit more breathing room. Not sure about that one. But so April 20, we are going to host the State of the Open Home. It will be live here on YouTube. So in case you want to get notified, hit like, subscribe, bell, all these things that are down here.
Click it.
Yes, click it, and you'll be notified. We'll make a post on the website, whatever, too, right? So, State of the Open Home is back. And this year, we're planning to do with multiple projects again. I think we've had it like every year. We try to like invite like some other projects in our ecosystem. We're, of course, doing that again, right? So, the Open Home is not just Home Assistant. It's not just ESP Home. It's, we like...
It's the Open Home.
Yeah, C-Wave.js. All the good cool projects. So yes. Will there be music entertainment this time? That's an excellent question. But we don't actually have it planned this time. We're kind of. I think last time we went a little overtime. Like we kind of aim for 2 hours. So 2 hours is a good mark. Otherwise, people are like, "Come on, more." So yeah, we'll have to see. It will be cool to have something in there, but I don't know yet how we're gonna do it. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. That is always, I don't know. It's some kind of milestone every year.
Yeah.
Still feels like that. All right. Should we do a little bit of voice? I'm just.
Yes,
I
I want
to.
to. This is a question about the history panel.
Oh, that's good.
What happened to the refresh button? I removed it. Yeah,
it's now a download button.
Yeah. No, I felt like I prioritized screen real estate and the refresh button. No, so the refresh button actually didn't do anything. We have been subscribing to history for a while now, so we're actually automatically updating real time. So
it's live. It's real time. There's no refreshing there. It makes no sense.
So if you look at data in history, then obviously it's already not changing anymore. If you're looking today, if your end date is in the future, it will automatically update. So the history button is no longer needed.
Yep.
It's like the save button. Nobody really saves anymore. It's saving for you. Well, yeah, Home Assistant not yet, but Google Docs.
Although that can have weird side effects, like you're building automation, you're halfway in, and then it auto saves, triggers it, and then it's like half baked triggering stuff.
Auto reloading, yeah.
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
All right, voice mic.
Sure.
Mike, the voice guy, the voice mic, the mic, the voice.
That's me.
All
Not
right.
affiliated with the TV show. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, one of the things we have, voice for the voice god. I don't know. We have some better assist errors. That's kind of the main thing that's been contributed for this month here. So obviously it's been an ongoing meme through the year of voice that assist often says, "Sorry, I couldn't understand that for you." And so, we really took to heart the idea of let's make it work and then let's make it work well. All right, so we've made it work, and now we're coming back with much better error messages, so people can understand. For example, assist is unaware of an area named, the spaceship or whatever you have, or if you give a device name that it doesn't recognize, it can now tell you, "Sorry, I'm not aware of any device named this or that." And coming in the future will be more things about hinting at. I know this device exists, but it's not exposed. But at least now it heard you correctly, and it knows what is wrong, so you can start debugging that. The debug panel, the debug tool has also been extended to show a lot more information. Probably should have prepared a demo for this.
You should, yeah. I was waiting for you.
Shall I can share my screen and show something if you want to see the errors. Or maybe you have something.
It's very easy to trigger errors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I could run that.
Mike is used to have prepared like chapter streams, right? And now he's dumped into.
I got yeah. Let me share
the improv theater that we are doing here on the release streams.
Here, I'll share a Chrome tab.
I do admit, by the way, I did prepare one thing today. So.
All
right.
Okay, so assuming I didn't break anything. So if you say, let's see, turn on the, I'll say like fake light. Now it'll actually tell you, I'm not aware of any device called fake light, this kind of thing. Turn on the lights, in the spaceship, and it'll actually tell you they're not aware of any area, this kind of stuff. And it can even go a little bit farther than that. So you say like, open all windows, say, can't remember if I actually have, all windows, open the windows.
Good.
Room for improvement, but
room for improvement. So it can tell you that it knows there exists an area called bedroom, but you don't have any windows in there that are at least exposed to assist. So this is kind of the path we're taking, trying to improve things and give you actual usable errors. back.
So previously it would say, "Sorry, I didn't understand." I believe,
So I couldn't
right?
understand that to all of these.
Everything.
All of these, yes, always the same answer.
Yeah.
So
And then
major
you're like,
improvement
"What did I
there.
do wrong?"
Yeah,
And
show the dev tool. I'm not sure if many people know we have a dev tool actually.
yeah, so if you hop into the developer tools, there's an assist developer tool here, and this works really well for finding, even for seeing what things actually do work. So if I say turn on lights in the office, I can come down here, I can see which intent was matched and all of the information that was provided, and then come down here, and I can even see, for example, where the sentence that was matched came from.
Cool.
So this came from my built-in sentences. If you use custom sentences or sentence triggers, it will tell you it came from this particular custom sentence file or this particular trigger. So that's nice. And you can even see also what was targeted. So I can see two different lights here. Yeah, sorry, I moved the bed light into the office as a test. But both but both of these lights were matched. And this works well too if you say, like, how many lights are on. You can see, yeah, I put the ceiling lights in there. You can see which ones were matched, and if there were some that weren't matched, if I had other lights in the bedroom in this test instance, it would tell me those didn't make it. And then errors, of course. So turn on lights in the spaceship. You come down here, you'll see there's a false match. It didn't work, and you can see exactly why it didn't. So there's an area that didn't match called spaceship.
Nice.
But you can see it
Somebody
attempted to turn on.
Pat is asking, "Can we prefix the error with 'I'm sorry, Dave, but'?" I really that sounds amazing, Dave.
I think you can override all errors. So if you update the custom sentences file, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm. You can override responses even for the default intents. Yeah. And of course, if you have
Home Assistant, Frank, this is
well, Pat, there you go. You can do it.
Yes.
And of course, if you have in your automations, where is that thing? Why is it saying unknown now?
Because you're running a dev version, which is outdated.
Oh, yep, that's why.
Shall I take over?
Sure, you go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, no, I got something that I can share, I guess. So let me share this tab instead. And
I'm just gonna highlight this comment. Could the assist error provide a link to the dev page for more information? Yes, this is an excellent idea. We should totally look into this to help you kind of debug and find, like, we would love to have just even a list of, like, this is the last 20 errors you've seen. Like, hey, what could you do to fix this? You're missing an alias, you're missing this area, you're missing a device. So yeah, no,
that's
definitely.
Something, definitely we're looking at. You should not use punctuation in your sentence.
Sorry, sure, I know. So you like, I will do and you talk. That I think that works best for this one. So we have this is already existing, right?
Yes. So you have sentence triggers that have been in there previously, and of course it would always say done back to you, right? And people are they want more. So now there's another action. Unless you want to show it like that, but there's another action now that you add a sentence or a conversation response.
Yeah.
And so now when the automation completes, you can say whatever you want back. And of course, it's a template too, so you can get access to the trigger sentence if you had things that were matched there. There will be more things you can add over time that we're going to add over time.
Original name always works. So this should now work, right?
Yeah.
And this would work from any assist device now, and it would respond back to you with your particular response.
Nice. I think this is it working with any assist device is nice, right? It means that, like, even these little things, right? They will just now speak, sure, release party time even, right? Like, it's just text to speech is right built in, so we can do this.
And the cool thing is this thing accepts templates, right? So if you want to combine or compose a response based on, I don't know, the weather outside, the time, and whatever you can think of, that works.
Yeah, or if you had wildcards in your sentence, so a lot of people are creating ones for play, album by artist, then you could actually catch those wildcards and use them in your response, saying, okay, I'm playing.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
that's cool. And additionally, like this is also just an automation. So you could create a response based on a building block like a choose, and based on, I don't know, time of day, have a different response or a random response that is different, right? You can just make many more of these.
Yeah.
And give different responses on different places in your automation.
And drag and drop them around.
Yeah.
And drag and
Yeah.
but that's true. You cannot drag and drop them.
Yeah.
Not into this one, by the way. But yes.
Oh yeah. I see 2 questions I want to look into. Is there a way to set alias names for entities for the assist? Yep, that already works. Go to entity, to more info dialog, click on the settings icon, and there's a alias field.
And same works for areas.
Yeah. Voice assistants. Yep, there you can add your aliases. So you can add as many as you want. This is especially helpful if you have 2 different languages that you use with voice. You can add like all the names in all the different languages. The other comment, this one, can response be a sound file? Not currently.
No.
I think.
But yeah, you could. I mean, you could play something on a media player, but no, you can't send a response back to the assist device directly.
That's. I mean, this has been like it has been mentioned. We haven't implemented it, but I think it would be really cool because with the media source, you could even just play, I don't know, an MP3 or something, right? Or bleep bleep bleep.
Yeah, I've seen people.
Sorry,
people have made assistants that have different celebrity responses or something they've downloaded and they want to play this back. Yeah.
Oh, right. That's actually pretty fun. Good idea.
Let's see.
So voice responses. So when the cool thing with voice responses that is now being unlocked is that you can actually start sharing sentence packs through blueprints, right? So you will be able to share like 20 sentences and have them do things. So that's really cool.
Yeah. So there's another thing here in Assist. We're not done yet. There's more to talk about because, like, we also have this one.
Oh yeah.
Alice, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So previously, when you're like playing with Assist and like sometimes my kids, they have like other friends over and they're just like playing with the phone and just talking to ChatGPT the whole time. And then I'm trying to I want to manage the prompt. So I have to go here so I can quickly click on like edit Home Assistant Cloud, edit like the ChatGPT configuration. But then I also sometimes want to change the pipeline. So then I would have to find those devices, and finding those devices had to like require a few clicks. And I was like, why actually? We know that they use Assist, so we know they're there. So there's a new button called Assist Devices. They're right next to the exposed entities. When you click on it, you will see all your Assist devices. So it doesn't do any magic. It just shows you which assistant has been selected, which area they are in. You click on this row, it will just take you to the device info page where you have all your other configurations. So you can say configure the pipeline, the voice activity detection, these kind of things. So yeah, really cool. Small little quality of life improvement. There is some exploration being done to even take it a step further, with nothing to share yet.
Yeah. Jumping off point.
Yeah.
I like the last one, by the way. Dexter slap, yes.
Yeah.
I
want to just highlight one comment. Are there plans for local GPT model add-ons as conversation agent? Yes, we're looking into this. I think we should, Mike, we should just do a live stream where we just talk AI. I see a bunch of questions in the comments the whole time, and I think it will be good. Just let's talk an hour about AI. Because there's already some cool stuff out there as custom components as well that hook into ChatGPT functions. We're looking also at some cool stuff of how we can best support all the experimentation going on in this space. I feel like it's a little too early to really build something into a Home Assistant saying this is the future, just because every 2 months there's like some revolutionary technology enhancement coming, right? So, but yeah, we'll plan a stream and talk about it.
Yeah, some things seem to be coalescing, but there's still so much change in the space that every couple of weeks, some new awesome thing or feature comes out. But yeah, we are looking into this and want to have the ability to have some kind of large language model be able to reach back and control Home Assistant.
All right.
Voice.
Since we're talking about voice, there was some more to add. Do you want to talk about contest yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Just saying.
the voice assistant contest. Let me share.
Let me stop sharing in that case.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
not
what
that
Mike is looking for is tab. We did a live stream a couple of weeks ago where we showed how to make a voice assistant, and we launched a new voice assistant contest about which Mike is going to talk now.
Yeah, so JLo and I did a stream and did some live building too of voice assistant. Yeah, so that was a cool stream. Go watch it if you haven't. But so we talked about we've got 4 different categories here, and I'll just kind of go over them real quick because you can watch that stream if you want more details. But we have most creative satellite ideas, and kind of the go-to example so far has been the awesome Star Wars robot that one of our own put together, Paul put together, and so this is just something where here's just the coolest thing you can come up with that everything kind of fits into a theme. Another one is best starting guides, and there's a number of great videos out there already, but these would be something where somebody can kind of take you from 0 to hero, in terms of voice, and the most complete and all that would be the kind of the best in category. And then we have best events organized. So this is like a group effort. Get some people into a hackerspace, do something cool with voice, and do it as a group. And then lastly is best voice experiences. So this is something where just it may look cool, but it's not always practical, right? Or something that would have a high family approval factor, which my family has found out quite often. That I just stick whatever's cool in the living room. So yeah, this is best voice experiences. So this is make something that works completely, that maybe could actually replace fully a Google Home or a Alexa or something like that. Briefly, the prizes. So each category winner is going to get a Home Assistant Green, a Sky Connect, and then a spot on the live stream at the end of the contest to talk about their stuff with us. And
awesome.
Yeah, in addition to the category winners, the runners-up also get a Sky Connect. So we have a runner-up position, and then there's also a community favorite. There's a forum category for you to check out and vote there, and the community favorite gets the same prizes. They get the green, the Sky Connect, and the spot on the live stream.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Very nice. Yeah, make those voices.
Right, and this release, especially if you want to, I forgot the category, it's one up, but there's a category for the blueprint, right? The best voice experience.
Yeah.
This release is particularly helpful because blueprint automations and having responses that are templatable, that would be I believe the sugar to this. Being able to create something that has a decision tree and gives back different responses based on what's going on in your home and collects data and then formulates a response and is able to respond to a bunch of questions basically. I would love to see some blueprints for that. I think that will be great candidates for this category. So this release will unlock that.
Most of the submissions I've seen so far have been on the most creative side, like the Bender voice assistant that tells you to bite a shiny glass.
I've seen that. That one looked so cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so get creating, and let's see it. Yeah, the closing live stream is April 10th. I guess March 10th is when we start picking the winners. So yeah, you still got time.
Still have a month. Get those submissions going.
Yeah.
I saw a question come in for you, Mike. Is it possible to have different keywords invoke different assistants?
Not yet, but this is something that we are working on.
Instead of-
Go ahead, Frank.
That's actually a pretty cool idea.
I think, so invoking different assistants, or the original conceived idea was that you might have different wake words to invoke different pipelines that have different languages.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking instantly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yes, this is something on the roadmap. We had initial implementation of it and decided to change how that would work a little bit, something a little better, and so it didn't make this release, but hopefully the next, or we'll see.
Right. Everything just keeps piling up, but yeah, we are thinking about it. We're thinking about it.
Otherwise, you guys will think about it and like ask for it. That's how it works, right? Or maybe even build it. That's even better. Build it. Help building it.
Yeah, help build. I've seen some demonstrations of this already on the Wyoming satellite side, also on the Raspberry Pis.
Good. All right. Anything else voice related? You still want to continue on? I think we got everything from the side.
I think we have it.
Okay. Well, then I want to show a new little gem, if I may.
Do it.
Bam. Welcome to my... I'm not even sure which instance this is, actually. Anyways, I know this one has it. So this one is equipped with ZHA, or Zigbee integration for Home Assistant, Zigbee Home Automation, ZHA. And, well, I got a little thingy here. Oh, not this one. This one. It's updating.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. So what is going on here is that ZHA now has the ability to update devices, which is just, cool. It will now show up as an update. Like there's a new firmware available for your device, and you click install, and the magic will happen.
Oh, so that's why that happened.
That's what happened. For full disclosure, by the way, this is fake. No, but like as it happens, like there are a couple of brands supported right now, which is Third Reality, which is, by the way, it works with Home Assistant Partner. I believe Sonoff.
Innovelli must be in there because
Innovelli.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, I've installed the Lite recently, and it popped up the other night, and I was like, "Well, yeah, sure, I'll update."
Yep.
Yeah. So this is.
And I simply didn't have any of those brands at home, so I had to be creative here and fake my instance here to think it was actually a device.
I'm really stoked about this. So like we have had this for Z-Wave for a while, and what actually starts happening is that once we have a repository with updates, we will make it, for example, required that if you want to be as a Zigbee partner, works with Home Assistant partner, you will have to provide firmware updates if they're firmware available. It doesn't have to be an update. As in, like, if you just say this is the latest firmware, at least we can inform the user about that too, right? So, and we'll be working with more companies now. We'll just reach out to many that we know, that we have contacts with, like, hey, listen up. We have update available. Do you want to offer updates to users? And like there can be bugs that can get fixed. And so overall, this will make for a more stable, more secure, more reliable smart home. And I think that's just really cool.
Yep.
And just a heads up, this thing is slow. Like Zigbee, it's slow.
Zigbee is slow.
Yeah. So this can take like 4 hours or something in certain cases.
Depends, but yeah.
So I did it at
Zigbee
night.
Updates is slow.
Just because of that. My kids were blown away. I installed this Innovelli Lite, and then I set the double click action to turn on the TV. Oh man, we're living in the future.
Nice.
Oh, that's actually amazing.
I was chastised by my son. You didn't tell me about this.
Some people are asking about like different questions here about what's happening here. So one of the things that I want to like highlight and talk about is like the weird 0x53717446-ish number there for installed and latest version. You want to tell you what is going on there, Paulus, with those numbers?
Yeah, I mean the thing that's going on is this is how Zigbee gives us the version numbers. So
this is the specification.
Yeah. So there's nothing we can do. Every vendor interprets the number slightly different, like tries to put their version number in one way or the other in. It's just what it is. So be happy that there is a version number, I guess. But yeah, we cannot help it.
At least one number is greater than the other, right? Like
yes, it's
so
always greater.
At least know that.
Yep, that works. And yeah, if you upgrade a device and like Paul said, it can take hours, right? So that means if you click install and it will start like installing that firmware on that device, then like it can take a bit before it says 1 or 2%, right? Because it's just like 100% over 4 hours or something, or maybe 1, depends on the device a bit and how the reception is to it is and things like that. So yeah, updating your Zigbee devices. More firmware updates or more support for more manufacturers is in the works. The ones that are supported now are listed in the release notes, but more will be added hopefully soon.
Michelle's asking, does the window need to stay open? Yes. You also need to make sure that your computer doesn't go into standby for 4 hours. You need to keep moving the mouse, and the tab has to be on the forefront.
Come on. What is your mood today, sir? No,
I
you
actually
can't
wanted
just
this
close
exact
it. Look.
thing.
Yeah.
No, it is
nothing. You can just close it, walk away. Just don't shut down Home Assistant, obviously. It shouldn't break your Zigbee devices if Home Assistant were to restart. Like, devices should be smart enough, right? They keep it in memory before they write it. But so no, you're all good. Just the moment you click update, you're fine.
I kept the app open the whole time out of fear.
Woba is like it's still 44%. Yes, it's the same 44% as the screenshot in the release notes that I made this afternoon. It's like fixed. This is just what it is. Talk about IKEA. That's a good one. So IKEA actually does have firmware updates, or at least there are firmware updates available. However, we have not enabled it because, well, there have been cases known where the firmware turned out not to be that stable. So we need to figure out a way to make sure that if we offer an update in the Home Assistant interface, that it is at least like working correctly, right? So that's about IKEA.
Yeah, generally we want to work with manufacturers directly. For Z-Wave, this is what we do for Z-Wave, right? We don't allow users that find firmware files. We're not going to put in the update service because we want to make sure that we don't break your devices, right? Because that would like suck, especially if you build it into something like. So
I assume you can't go back either, right?
If it comes online, you could, but if you don't come online, but it's also not easy because you need to like patch the firmware files to fake it that it's a different version.
Yeah, I would assume it's like it will never go backwards in version numbers or something, right?
Yeah. Well, that is updating your Zigbee devices.
Somebody's asking about Tuya Zigbee devices. We can ask them for it, but I have been told that they don't have unique IDs per device. So I think that's already why we pulled some, because I think somebody accidentally flashed a plug firmware on a light or something, and like it wasn't the light anymore. And
well, there are Aquara and Tuya devices that identify themselves as something else. So it could be that it was like, hey, look at that IKEA light. Here's your firmware. Like that kind of level things happens with the Aquara and
Tuya. So
So
maybe the newer stuff might be better, and so we can work with them to get newer stuff firmware available.
Hopefully, would be good. Would definitely be good. All right. I'm not even sure which instance I'm on.
Can I talk a little bit, Frank, about Multipan? Because we're talking about Zigbee.
Yes. That's a good one. Actually.
Yes. So we've talked about it during the State of the Matter, and we also put it in the blog post about the matter. But I wanted to highlight it again just to make sure that it's very clear what we're happening is that we're currently freezing our multi-protocol effort. So Yeah, I made a slide deck. I was like, I'll just make sure that, like, when maybe if it gets, just so it doesn't get pulled out of context here. Now, we've been working when we announced Home Assistant Yellow, we said, hey, listen up, this chip can do multi-protocol. We're gonna look into this. Same chip as on the Sky Connect, so same thing. We've made this available in December 2022. It is a feature. Both the Sky Connect and the Yellow use a chip from Silicon Labs. Silicon Labs, in part of their SDK, makes multi-pan available. We relied on them, and it worked, and then it crashed, and then like it worked a bit more, then it crashed. It hasn't been the most
Don't make your
stable.
network too big.
Yeah, and we have been frustrated with that. We've been, talking to Silicon Labs. We even became, we actually work with a lot of different Silicon Labs technologies. So recently we also actually became official partners, and we've been like, submitting not bug fixes, we're submitting issues to them, and the ball doesn't roll very fast. In fact, their release cycle, just, they're a big company. We are not their main priority. It just hasn't been moving very fast. It doesn't help either that they're closed source, right? If we could have solved the multi-pan SDK ourselves, it would have been rock solid by now. We cannot, right? We see a stack trace, it's unreadable for us. Like, we can only give it to them. And then we also realized that there are technical limitations that we thought would be fine, but in the end now it adds such a hassle to it, which is also combined with that it crashes from time to time, just really gives a very poor experience. The biggest technical limitation was that Zigbee and Thread have to be on the same channel with the multi-pan firmware, and the downside is that you come with, when you start a new Zigbee network, we will find the channel that has the least amount of utilization, select that one. For Thread, though, a lot of people end up having a Google or an Apple Thread border router already. They end up with credentials from Thread, from Google and Apple, which has also, they pick a random channel. Those channels often don't match. We cannot tell Google and Apple, hey, use our channel, use our Thread credentials. They ignore us if they already have Thread credentials from themselves. So we added like a Zigbee channel migration tool, but this is also painful, as in like, it's just a lot of work for users. So in the end, we're like, yeah, it's probably better to just freeze our multi-pan efforts. And instead, we're going to make sure that our pure Zigbee and our pure Thread experiences are really well. So these chips do Thread, these chips do Zigbee. So our Zigbee only experience is already works really well. That's actually the one that works out of the box with both the Yellow Sky Connect. The multi-pan was always hidden, right? You had to go to hardware, and then you could enable an experimental mode. That mode is gonna stay there. People that use it today can keep using it. We're just not gonna update it now. We're just gonna make sure first that if you wanna use the Sky Connect or Yellow as a Thread border router, that experience is great. So we hope that our goal is you plug in a Sky Connect. We ask you as user, hey, are you going to use this for Zigbee or Thread? And whatever you click, everything should be done automatically for you. So that's the plan, and it sucks. Shay's asking, can you use 2 Sky Connects? Yep, you can. We've tested this already. We're going to make sure we have a UI for this. Of course, inside our Zigbee integration only supports one Zigbee radio, but of course, if they both have a different radio type, then that should just work. Time frame for Thread credential sharing updates. Everything is live. We did the fix. It was released as part of the iOS update, so we are able to import Apple credentials. The Apple one was the one that was lagging behind. Google we already had, but we can import Apple credentials. We can. I would have to say transfer, because import-export is ambiguous. So we're able to transfer Thread credentials from an Apple to Home Assistant. We're able to transfer Thread credentials from Home Assistant to Apple now. Apple will not use your Home Assistant credentials unless you do not have an Apple HomePod or Apple TV or any other thread border router device. For Google Android, this was already possible, right? So you could already get Home Assistant thread credentials inside Google's thread credentials inside Home Assistant. Google has the same limitations though. So Google will also ignore your thread credentials, basically.
There's work being done on improving that experience in general, by the way, to make it better in sharing those thread networks.
Yeah. Let's see, are there other questions? No? All right, let's talk about our Matter updates. Can I use Skype Connect and Zigbee to MQTT?
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
you can. Just use the pure Zigbee firmware. It is still marked as experimental within Zigbee to MQTT. So it is not their main target area, is to use the Texas Instruments and not the Silicon Labs chips. But the Silicon Labs driver that Zigbee to MQTT uses is a port from the driver that we wrote for the Python version. So generally it just works. It's just a couple of changes behind usually. But yeah, it should work.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thanks, Pat. You want to talk about Matter? Like, that's a good bridge, by the way, from this, because we talk about thread. We talk about Matter. Do you have something? Should I share something?
I have no.
Okay.
Do I have?
I do.
Oh.
I do.
Where's my? I have a Christmas tree.
Christmas tree.
I
got from one of these, by the way. Eve.
Oh yeah, nice.
This is thread. Like, you can see this is Matter with the thread.
We gotta do it. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick what is Matter, what is thread. So quick 2-minute pitch, just so to clarify it. Matter is a newish smart home standard introduced 1.5 years ago. It is still kind of being rolled out, developed. It is moving. It is not moving as fast as people want, but it's coming there. Support for it is in Home Assistant. We're up to date, but the support for Matter for different device types is not as expanded. For example, energy monitoring, metering is not there. Matter works with Matter works with IP addresses. So what does it mean? Things that have IP addresses are, for example, your Wi-Fi internet. So just like a Wi-Fi, doesn't matter what goes over Wi-Fi. If this is Home Assistant, Snapchat, Apple TV Plus streaming, Netflix streaming, Wi-Fi doesn't care. The same is for thread. Thread is like a super slow Wi-Fi, basically. It's kind of like if the Wi-Fi is the highways in your house, then thread are like the service roads, the small dirt roads, something like this. And so Matter can send packets over thread. Matter can send packets over Wi-Fi. At some point, as long as the packet gets from the device to Home Assistant, then it doesn't really matter if it came over thread or Wi-Fi. It's all the same data. Okay, go.
It's transport versus the protocol, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? You have the protocol, which is Matter, and the transport could be thread or Wi-Fi or, you know what the future beholds, maybe smoke signals. Ethernet. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, that would work. You're muted, Mike. The voice has no voice.
Yeah.
I have a mouth, but I have a screen, but I have no mouth. Is that what it is? I said, you could run it over a piece of string as well. A wet piece of string apparently can do work.
Thread. That's well, never mind. Anyways, I got this one, and if you want to play and start with Matter, these actually, the Eve ones actually work really well. At least Marcel told us that's good, and Marcel's working on our Matter stuff, so I was trusting that. And this was actually my first thread device that I added because I needed to make screenshots for this. Right, so here it is. Matter, it's in beta. In my case, it is beta. Matter is beta, but I'm also using a beta instance right now. 2 devices. And the thing that is new here right now, this is, by the way, a contact sensor. I will show you in a bit, which is this little one. And this is well, if I put it in the right place, I guess. Not even sure where it's exactly seated.
Wait,
What?
Oh, now it's closed. It's not. Oh, system breakdown.
Well, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about today. I'm actually not sure. Did I push something here while I had it in my hand? I don't know. Could be.
Did it turn off?
No, you
Could
can't.
be. I didn't even close the battery compartment, so maybe the battery was not good in place. So it could be as well that. Like, I wanted to make a screenshot this afternoon. It's literally that. I need to play with it. Anyways, what is new here on this device page is this little thing here. And it provides you with all kinds of technical details.
Yeah.
The reason for this is a thread device, right? It's a sleepy-end device, which means it's battery powered, basically. In this case, it sleeps most of the time. This is the network where it's used, which is using it, which is, by the way, an Apple network and HomePod in this case, which is why it's called My Home. Its MAC address and its IP addresses, just like Paul has just told. It is IP level protocol, right? Over a thread, which is.
Sorry, I misclicked.
No, it's fine. No, that's good.
So can yours reach the internet?
I don't think so. Can they?
No,
they shouldn't be able.
It's up to the thread border router to allow thread devices to talk to IPv6 addresses, and as far as I know, it's disabled.
Look, we already found the issue. It's that new. I haven't updated yet, so this device needs to update. That's probably the case. Yeah. Okay. But what is cool here is this little new thingy, which has a bunch of new actions you can take on your Matter device. So, for example, Matter has something called Fabrics, which is basically like multi-admin, like multi-controller, multi-network thing. If I explain it right, so you can have a device that is in multiple networks at the same time. So it could be like bound to the controller that is Home Assistant, but it could at the same time be controlled by Google, your Google Nest maybe, or your Apple HomePod, your Apple network, which is pretty cool. And in this Manage Fabrics, you can actually see those. So in this case, I see my Apple keychain and I see Nabu Casa, which is my my local Home Assistant one. And I can kick out one of them if I want to.
Yeah. And the reason you might want to do this is because two reasons. One is if you only, maybe you were migrating from like an Apple or Google system to Home Assistant, then maybe you don't want to share all your data to Apple and Google anymore, right? Like you want to like shut down that, so you can now easily kick them out also from Home Assistant. The other thing is that devices can be paired. They need to be able to be paired to 5 different smart home systems fabrics at the same time. If you reach that limit, you cannot pair it to a new smart home. So maybe you've been experimenting, resetting and stuff. You're like, oh, now I need to kick out some old ones. Yeah.
Get it. So the other thing besides kicking one out would be adding a different controller, right? This is the cool thing about Matter, is that you can actually share your device with another ecosystem at the same time. So that's why we now have this little share device button right here, which you can click. We'll ask if you want to, and I hope now it works. It works. Look at that.
There you go. So this is really cool. Actually, if you are now close to Frank's house, you could scan this QR code and then also get a link to his open close.
My neighbor isn't watching.
Yeah, no, but if you open, like if you have an iPhone, you search for QR code scanner, you scan this code, it will actually open the Apple Home app, right? So it will allow you to ask you to pair. So the way this works is that the first time a device is put on the network, like the first time a Matter device is connected to a Matter controller, it has a connected thread or Wi-Fi, then afterwards the fabric that has connected to it can put it again in pairing mode This number is the secret code that's actually embedded in a QR code. And Apple, Google, Home Assistant, we all know how this works, and we can work with this. And yeah, you can edit.
Yep. All right. That's sharing.
I want
Besides,
Frank, before we continue, there's a question from Mr. Swick. Will Matter support in the Home Assistant ever come to the Docker version, or will it stay an add-on for Home Assistant OS? So there are people that are running the Matter. So the Matter SDK is a separate application. We run this in an add-on, which is of course a Docker container, and people will be able. There are variants that people are running their own Dockerized version of the Matter server outside of Home Assistant OS. But this is a really big but. It might not work correctly. We have actually made changes to the way Home Assistant OS functions, changed certain settings to Network Manager, made sure that there's a lot of IPv6 routing happening, and devices coming on and off the network, and all of that stuff needs to work perfectly well in tandem. So unless you really want to dive deep into networking, I would really, really suggest to use Home Assistant OS. But we have figured it out, and we have made sure that the whole stack is optimized to make this work. So we don't even know if we will be able to ever release a supported version, just because we don't know what your Docker host is doing and if it even can handle IPv6 very well. That as we have been getting more experience with Matter and Thread, we realize that there's a lot of routers out there and just home networks that are just struggling with IPv6. They're either too smart, or they are too dumb, or they have too many caches, too little time, too much timeouts, whatever. Like, there's just so much stuff to tune, which is also a reason why I think Thread is not getting as fast as adopted as, for example, Matter over Wi-Fi. But yeah, it's the short answer is, I'll never say never, but I don't know if it will be an ever soon. If that makes sense.
I think it takes time, right? It's a little bit the same as like in back in the days. Like, that sounds like really old. It's not that old, baby.
Yeah.
But like 7 years ago or something, when NDNS became a little bit more used and standard, like everybody had routers that didn't function well, or didn't handle it well. It was just a weird mess. I know in the beginning when I started contributing to Home Assistant, like MDNS was still like unreliable as people. But yeah, nowadays, like most routers handle it well. I think this is kind of a similar situation. It will take time for all the networks and devices to like evolve.
I think Thread really is the first major use case of IPv6 in the home, right? So
yeah, probably yes.
Yeah.
Some other things we can do here, by the way, to go back into the actions, is we can re-interview the device, which will mean that Home Assistant will try to talk to the device again and ask about its abilities and like all the properties it has, and sync up with the device from scratch, basically. That's what the interview does. We can go and view the thread network. So in this case, it is my OpenThread border router, my Apple HomePod here, and my Google Nest Hub.
So this is actually interesting. Your preferred network is the one running inside Home Assistant. Your thread device, you use your iPhone. Your iPhone doesn't care about your preferred thread network from Home Assistant, so pairs it to your Apple HomePod, but that still works for Matter, right? So your Apple HomePod will forward the communication from your thread device, your door window sensor in this case, Apple HomePod, then to Home Assistant. So that just works.
Yeah.
It does mean if you move your Apple HomePod out of reach from the device, then of course it breaks, right? Like that's a thing.
But right now it's barely 20 centimeters, so this works. At least I hope. But if you do want to know if it works, there's also a new thing here, which is called ping device. And what it does is literally ping the device on the IP network. So here we go.
Yeah, this is taking a bit longer because it's a battery-powered device, right? So.
Oh, right, of course.
Can you wake it up? Oh, there you go.
I don't have to. Yeah. There it is. So one of the IP addresses responded. No, there's a communication going, so that's good.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be reachable on all IP addresses, I think. I'm not sure exactly. This stuff is just so complicated. This is why we have Marcel and Stefan and to look and dig into this and explain and not only just explain but just make sure Home Assistant OS and the Home Assistant and all this whole Matter stack works.
IPv6 addresses just look like a catwalk across the keyboard, basically.
See, looks good.
Thanks, Fabian.
Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, we still have the download diagnostics. That's still there. So if you have an issue and you report an issue with Home Assistant project, click this button. It will download a JSON file. And you can just drag that into your issue if you go on GitHub writing your issue. And so the developers have more information around it. Yeah. That's for Matter. Absolutely beautiful. Good work, guys.
Yes.
Helpful. This will help a lot with
yes.
Right. Troubleshooting in general.
Boom.
Boom. Indeed. Right. I want to talk about, now I'm here, icons.
Yeah.
I hope I have the right instance to talk about those. Let me quickly. I made such a mess today on my instances.
Well, while you're figuring it out, please hit the like button on YouTube.
Ooh.
So, we get some likes going. Then subscribe, hit the bell. We will not keep talking unless we hit how many likes?
280 we're now.
Yeah.
That screen I do have.
Yeah.
So icons. Let's talk a little bit about icons because I think it's nifty little feature. So what we did this release is we've changed the way how icons work, and we have icons everywhere in Home Assistant, right? It's basically on every entity, and I'm constantly clicking it. It's basically on every entity, and I don't know where we have them everywhere. They're just lovely and beautiful. Those MDI icons in the sidebar, they're everywhere, here in the top. But what we did is we changed how it works, and the beauty about this is that we've changed basically a lot. We changed how the front end works, the back end works, and how integrations work. And after all this work by so many people, they are still there, which sounds a little bit dissatisfying, but it's absolutely not. It's a major undertaking, and making it still work like that is just that's good.
I think
expected.
The big improvement here is that now integrations, for example, an integration for a thermostat is now able to specify their own icons, so we keep everything together. Right? Previously, some knowledge was in the front end, some knowledge was in the back end. You have to update the front end, update the back end. It was it just doesn't work well, right? So if we ever want to, our vision is that every integration folder is this individually packaged thing that just you can ship around. That should make sure that also the icons are inside of that.
Yep. And as the integrations can provide icons, they can now also provide more icons than before. So a few releases back, we introduced this a thermostat card, right? This new one, which looks absolutely stunning. But if you clicked on presets, you would have maybe an away icon and then dots because it didn't know the presets. Well, now integrations can provide the actual icons. So you have a nice little vacation icon in case it's anti-frost here, which is not default. Integrations can actually provide those icons as well, which is pretty sweet. Looks good. So that's one of the improvements. Another improvement we did is that if you go to areas have pictures. You can put pictures and upload pictures into areas. But you can also give them icons. And you can also give them an icon and a picture, by the way. If you prefer that, then it will show the picture right here. You haven't enabled that, Paul, did you? No, doesn't work. Good. But yeah, you can have pictures still and icons. But the beauty is that as soon as you start using it in, for example, an automation editor, let's create a new one, and let's turn on a light. And if I choose the area, they will show up in the pictures too.
Nice.
So that's just nice and consistent and very recognizable. So that's pretty cool. And there's another use case. And since I'm in the automation editor, I can show you that really well. For example, let's say I want to do something with media player. Every single action or service, if you want to talk a little bit more, it's cool, now has its own icon and makes it really recognizable. And that same icon is then being used in the automation editor as well. So if this is all collapsed, you can see it. You're frozen, Wallace.
Oh,
now you're back.
I'll mess with stupid reactions.
Right. So yeah, that's icons across the board. They are now like a lot have changed under the hood, but they are now there in areas and they are now there in services.
Yeah.
And presets probably fan things. And they show up, I believe, in presets too, or in debug too. Let me show you if I have a trace here.
No, the bell icon is a surface.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It should have. Oh,
yeah, I will. I made a note already.
Yeah, I saw that note popping up, and I was like, "Oh, I think it was updated," but it wasn't.
No.
Damn, they will. No. So these are the changes around icons, and I think they're beautiful. Like it's a little nice touch and makes stuff more recognizable again, and more consistent too. Because like Aries was one of the places that couldn't have icons, which is just odd.
Yeah, and the areas can have pictures, but often your pictures are always like they just. Man, an icon is just nicer. I feel like this looks really neat, right?
Yeah.
This looks neat, and especially if you use it in the interface, like little drop downs and such, it makes the list just more recognizable.
Yep. The Egyptians would be proud.
Definitely. You can carve it into the wall. Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on to the next thing that's new in this release, I thought I want to talk about why we do this. As you might know, we
tell me.
No, one of the reasons why we build Home Assistant is because we get paid to build Home Assistant. Yes, I mean, that's why we can do this full time, right? And the reason we can do this full time is because of Nabu Casa. So Nabu Casa is a company. Like I founded Home Assistant, I also founded Nabu Casa. Nabu Casa creates a service called Home Assistant Cloud. People that subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud generates revenue. There are no investors that need to be paid back with Nabu Casa. There is no exit strategy. The only reason is build cool stuff for Home Assistant and its ecosystem. So all the people employed by Nabu Casa are, working on Home Assistant. And that's awesome. That's cool. Besides Home Assistant Cloud, we're also responsible for making the Home Assistant hardware, the yellow, the green, the Sky Connect, blue back in the days. Beautiful hardware. And Mike is working on it full time. Frank is working on it full time. I'm working on it full time. In fact, there's a lot of people working on it full time. And we're actually looking for a few more people to work on Home Assistant full time. So I want to just highlight a few job openings. I'm just going to share my screen. If you go to nabucasa.com, which probably you go visit every day. Okay, maybe not. But at the top, there's a thing called jobs. If you click on it, you get to the remote.com jobs page. Actually, it opens an overview. You gotta click on jobs. There's 3 positions open right now that we're looking for. We are looking for a. Whoa, Mike, the keyboard.
Oh, that wasn't a keyboard. That was a bag. Sorry.
Chips.
That was
it's my prime moment.
Oh,
looking for a job as an audio engineer.
Okay.
This is like pre-recorded. We can do this over again. Right. Let's restart this.
All right. So, we're looking at this point. We have 3 job openings open. We're looking for a senior UX researcher. So help us understand our users, do deep dives in topics like, what the hell should notifications look like in the perfect world, or these kind of things, dashboards, something like this. I don't really know. It needs to be researched, right? Like big questions. We're looking for a Node.js developer to help out with Home Assistant Cloud. This one we're mainly looking in Canada. This is for the time zones, just to cover more of like around the clock. And then we're looking for a customer service manager, so someone to help lead our support team and help provide the best support. So if you know somebody that fits these kind of jobs, point them to our website. We're going to post some more jobs soon. So keep an eye on it. So yeah, come apply, come work with us on Home Assistant. It's literally the best job in the world, right? Like we just wake up, we work on Home Assistant.
Yeah. I come downstairs to my
freaking
Amazon
course.
warehouse here and just start working.
Yeah, Amazon where you always have Amazon package in the background, by the way. That's indeed true.
I do.
That's indeed true.
I need to get a green screen so I can have a giant Amazon.
You just need to clean up, Mike.
Whoa! They don't try to change me, man.
Yeah, no, but you're totally like from the bottom of my heart. This is absolutely a great job to do. It's awesome to work on this stuff. Yeah. We're doing cool things all day. I absolutely love doing what I do. I thank you all for being able to allow me to do this all day. And yeah, this is it is a good place to be. It's definitely a dream job.
The description of this is not a startup, this is a small business. I think that's an awesome difference than a lot of companies out there. And customer service manager, there are some companies left that still do customer service.
Yep.
We're one of them.
Keith is saying you get to work with me. That's true. It's not just Home Assistant. We also, of course, build ESP Home. So yeah.
We're trying to promote this, Paul. Is clicking away. No, kidding, Keith. No, absolutely kidding.
You get to work with Keith and Keith's bird. So
yeah.
Big plus.
Keith and Keith's bird. Yeah, it's always like chirping in the background. That's indeed.
Cool. So,
oh God.
If you don't fit any of the job subscriptions and you do want to support us, definitely sign up for Home Assistant Cloud. That some people ask us why we don't do donations. And the thing with donations is like it's a one-time thing, and it's very hard for us to budget, right? Like we want to pay people to work on this full time. They need to work on it full time. I mean, they need to know that there is money coming in every month to pay the salaries. With donations, you get something like Wikipedia, which has like those big back banners, like in all of Wikipedia for like, I don't know which month it is. It's always very annoying. So yeah, just this is nice. This is nice for everybody. And it's also very clear, right? Like you pay us, we give you a lot of value, and then everybody's happy.
Yeah, cool. I saw tons of features people wanted. So like we need people for building those.
Yes. Yeah.
It was kind of funny to see like all kind of features coming by on UX research. That's cool. That's part of the job, right?
Yeah,
that's good.
There's some people asking about salary ranges, by the way. We pay people around market rate for their market. So we are a remote company, fully remote. We are mainly, you'll see that our job listings are generally America, European-based time zones. I mean, Africa, South America, Central America also belong to that. The reason for that is that if we have it's for a work-life balance, right? If you have people all over the world, it's great, it's awesome, give opportunity to everyone. But then if some people have to work at like 4 a.m. because otherwise you cannot be in a team meeting, that's not cool. If the team can never meet together, that's not cool. So yeah, we're limiting to certain time zones.
Yeah, that's purely practical from that perspective. Also fun, by the way. Like,
yeah,
we want to meet each other,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Left.
Features left? Yes, we're not even halfway. I should speed up a bit.
Yeah. I was going to joke, Jesse, about Jesse's over in New Zealand. He's one of the ESP Home guys, and he's one of those where you always have to check yourself when you say, "We'll do that tomorrow." No.
Oh, right. Yes, he lives in the future.
Years in the future.
So it could be today for
Yeah.
then whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's confusing. Yeah, I want to maybe quickly highlight. Sorry, I'm going to jump back into the release notes actually.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I want to talk about the proximity integration real quick.
Ooh.
Because we already have a proximity integration. This is not new. But Michael actually worked really hard on the proximity integration this release and brought it to the UI, which is absolutely amazing. Stunning job there, Michael. Thank you so much.
Should we start with saying what the proximity exactly does?
Yeah, that was my next point.
Oh, okay.
So what is proximity? Because he brought it to the UI, which means it's more accessible for a lot of people. And that is important because this is actually a great integration to use. I think proximity is one of the better features to build automations on. So having it available in the UI, easy accessible, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
What does it do, Paulus? Can you
summarize? So I hope I'm not going to bastardize it. So proximity is all about proximity, right? So you have a point in the map and you have another point in the map. And then as one point is fixed and the other point moves, you can start seeing how far is this person from, for example, the home. So in this case, you see that Daphne, she's 7,600 meters away from home, I assume. And her direction of travel is toward. So what does it mean? It tells Home Assistant in automations, okay, this person is getting closer to home, right? And you could, for example, keep an eye on it of like, hey, if this person has been moving closer to home for the last 10 minutes, then maybe they're actually coming towards home. And then let's turn on the heating, for the example, that the house is nicely warm. So it gives you not just a person is entering a zone, it actually tells you,
somebody's coming home.
Coming home, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically one of the biggest use cases for this, right? Knowing you're coming home. And when Home Assistant knows you're coming home, you can make an automation that says, well, turn on the lights, open the garage door if you're close enough. I don't know, play your favorite music and turn on the heating indeed, or the air conditioning in the summer, things like that. Yeah. That is amazingly powerful. But you could do other stuff too, right? If you have your favorite supermarket where you generally go for your groceries and you have your groceries in Home Assistant, and it notices you're very close by the supermarket and going towards it, then you could send a message like, hey, you still need to get this is on your list, milk and whatnot is on the list.
Yeah.
And push that out. I think that is beautiful. So yeah, the thing here though is proximity already existed. We had that integration. It was a YAML. It was very old. And it had the so-called proximity entities. It's similar to a light entity or a switch entity, right? But we had proximity entities. And those things were actually not that helpful. So in this transition to the UI, Michael also built the transition from the proximity entity into the sensor entities. These are regular sensor entities. And we are all familiar with sensor entities. We can automate with them. We can display them on dashboards. And I don't know what else people want to do with them. But you can do a lot with sensor entities. Yeah. So if you're a previous user of the proximity integration, please bear in mind the old proximity entities will go away. They're still there, by the way. They will be there for another 6 months. But in 6 months' time, we're going to remove them. And these are the replacements.
Yeah. And one feature I forgot to mention, you can actually pass in multiple devices.
Yeah.
And it will show you the nearest one as well, right? So you can see, in this case, the nearest device is Daphne, but if Frank would have put in Frank's own phone and he was closer, then the nearest one will be set to his. So you can really track multiple people, who is coming home first, or these kind of things.
So one point has to be fixed in this, or?
Yes, it's the zone. So you actually track persons or devices, but in general, persons you will track probably. And the other part is the zone, which you come to. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Hey. So it's actually, Frank, I just noticed it's under integrations, not helpers.
It's not a helper. No. I don't know why, actually. Good question, because it consumes other entities. So you would expect it to be. I don't know. Although helpers are limited to a single entity, right? And this provides
This is,
the
but the
device.
template one is a helper,
Right?
So
True.
We're gonna look into that.
Figure something out.
Yeah. Somebody's asking for the update interval. It is purely based on when the states change, so it's instant, right? The moment Home Assistant knows that the moment your device sends an update of its location to Home Assistant, the proximity sensor will update. So it's very nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is Hungarian Man Beast. That's an excellent note. Indeed, the nearest device handy for target notification. So only send a notification to the one that's closest to the thing that has to be done.
True. That will work. Yeah, what else is new? Oh, right.
Okay,
We're
new Python.
We're shipping on a brand new Python version. This is so exciting.
It's so interesting because it's almost like a non-event. Like it's faster. Like Home Assistant is going to be faster. Python will run Home Assistant faster. But actually, you won't notice it that much because Home Assistant has been sped up so much by just ongoing work by Bidraco, which is, I think he had like 50 speed optimizations or something.
Yeah,
there's just so many speed optimizations happening all the time. So if it feels faster, it was probably Bidraco, not Python. Still, there are some fixes, improvements. It will definitely make our development easier and more convenient.
Yeah. So, like Python is the programming language we write Home Assistant in, right? Home Assistant core is written in Python, and the Python engine runs underneath it, and that runs Home Assistant on top, right? That's basically how it works. And if we upgrade that engine, that Python programming language that we use, then we get new features for programming, making code like slicker, nicer, more robust, things like that. And yeah, what does it mean for you? Probably nothing besides all the what's mentioned. But if you're running Home Assistant OS or container, or like even if you run a supervised install, you will just get a normal update. I saw a bunch of people already updated. You will not notice. Like you will just click that update button, and we will take care of it for you. Are you one of those? I don't know how many people. Like it's really
4%
small. 4% of the people, yeah, that run Home Assistant like natively themselves on their own Python installation. Some people still do. In that case, you're responsible for Python, right? So you have to upgrade yourself.
Yeah.
For those people, we still support Python 3.11, which was the previous version. It still works. But if you upgrade to this release, it will show a repair in your repair center telling you to move to Python 3.12. Because in 2 releases, we're going to drop support for Python 3.11. No. That's it about Python.
Yep.
God, we're into it today, right? What else do we have here? Oh, we have, I think it's on above this one. Hold on.
We don't see you scroll, huh?
No, I know. I'm scrolling at 2 screens so I can switch tabs.
Oh, okay.
We now show repairs, we now show re-authentication, as we call it, authentication errors in a repair center. So what previously happened is that if you go to if there was an integration with an authentication error or something, you need to log in again, things like that. It could not connect, whatever the reason is. You could go to the integration dashboard, and just like Discovery, there would be like that little like card which says reconfigure or re-authenticate, I believe it is. I'm not sure even what it said. But these will now also show up in the repair center because something is wrong and you need to do something about it. So that will happen. And I think this is just a little slight move and change that just makes the repair center more central in handling stuff that's not working well. So yeah, there's that.
Oh, and this is a nice little bridge, Frank, because we authenticate Tuya. First of all, if you use Tuya and last weekend you were like, "Whoa, my Tuya integration is broken," it's first of all not our fault. We know we've been very aware by a lot of issues that were created. Tuya had this thing where you would like to use Tuya, you would have to create a dev account with their cloud, and you get a 6-month trial, and then from time to time they cancel all the accounts when their trial had expired, and then your Home Assistant integration would not work. You would have to talk to support. They would extend your trial, and then you could move on.
For 6 months.
For 6 months, yes.
And then start over again.
Yeah. But this release, things are different.
Things are different. Yeah, so Tuya actually, I don't know what happened. I just imagine, considering the amount of people that are using Tuya and Home Assistant, which is a lot, by the way. It's almost 20% of the users or something, 19, something like that. A lot of users are using something Tuya. And if all those users contact Tuya support every 6 months to ask them for an extension, I can imagine they have been busy. So I suspect, I'm not sure, that might be one of the reasons they try to work with us, because they made an authentication system specifically for Home Assistant, so we can provide a better user experience setting up Tuya. So previously, you would have to create a developer account, get tokens, I don't know what policy, just explained a bunch of that, but it was a huge instruction set. And I want to show you how it now works today. So I'm going to try this. This is a develop instance, by the way. It's not my actual instance. I hope it works. I pray the live demo gods right now. So let's just do it. So let's say I want to add Tuya. I just go to add Tuya.
You saw that cloud icon? That cloud icon, man.
Yes.
When we add an integration, you see that cloud icon. It means this relies on the cloud. It means that your internet goes down, or if the company decides not to support your product, you're out of luck with that product.
It's cloud. Cloud is not the best. Anyways, if I click Tuya, it will not ask for a Tuya user code. And the code can just be found in the app right here. I got the Tuya app, or the Smart Life app will work too. You can go to the settings on an account, and you will find a field called user code. So I'm using a modified version of Home Assistant right here to not show my user code live on screen. But normally you would just see your user code when you type. So I hope I didn't make a typo. And at that point, you hit submit, and it will return a QR code. In that same Tuya app, there in the top right is a QR code logo scanner thingy. And if I click that, it will try to hey, you can see myself. Anyways, it will try to scan the code. And if I now scan the code, it will ask me if I want to give Home Assistant access. If I confirm that, then it says it's done. And that means I can now hit submit right here.
Boom.
Boom.
Wow.
There we go.
Nice.
That's so much easier.
That's
Finish.
All works, right? So nice.
Yep. There we go.
I like your hub name.
Right? That's good, huh? No. But you should not buy cloud devices, by the way. If you buy Tuya devices, realize that they only function really well via cloud. There's a local Tuya integration thing, which is a lot more technical, but also doesn't have all capabilities. Yeah, there are still Tuya devices. Nothing changed on the Tuya integration otherwise. It is purely the authentication. The experience otherwise will be exactly the same as before.
There's some people asking about Tuya local. No, this is exact same integration as before. So there's no Tuya local.
There's no other changes. I got a doorbell here that works too somewhere, here. It's a Wi-Fi doorbell. I think I can wave at it maybe. Hello. Do you work? Look, green screen. We'll take a bit before it takes up.
Whoa, everything you see is fake.
Yeah, it's not even real. Yeah, so, right.
Yeah, can I remove the development stuff from Tuya Cloud? Yes, you never ever have to touch Tuya Cloud again.
It's not used. Well, you need to, not the IoT developer account.
No.
That's the cloud you still need. Yeah.
So
that's cool. So the first time you, if you had this, by the way, if you had Tuya already installed and you upgrade to this release, you will get repair notification now that needs re-authentication. You need to go through this process, and it will automatically update your integration to use these new authentication methods.
Yeah, no, that's very nice. And so this was built by the new API was added by Tuya. They opened the pull request. Frank spent a lot of time cleaning, polishing it up, and now here it is. So we're stoked. We think that we with Home Assistant we aim on what like we call like the outgrowers. People generally start with like a Google or another smart home system, sometimes Tuya. So there are just people that come to Home Assistant, they have Tuya devices, and it's important for us that we work with all your devices and then, motivate you, of course, to slowly migrate to things that work locally. But definitely, like, this is a very popular integration. We see around 20% of the Home Assistant users having Tuya devices, which is pretty high number, pretty out there. So I'm glad it's now easier to use, and that's just good.
Definitely. All right, we're there. Yeah, noteworthy changes. Finally. God, this release has a lot of. That's why the release title is like all over the place, right? This release has a little bit of everything. I personally love that, by the way. Stunning. Eden House added support for Ecofax, a new integration, which the Ecofax was already existing, but he upgraded to support all the new type of vacuums and the debug vacuum models, which originally was a custom integration, but he ported it to core.
It was his custom.
Very nice.
Right.
Yep. That was his custom integration, and he ported it to core, which is absolutely nice. Yeah. Talking about Eden House, we now have like a good proper error messages. If you have one of those forms you're filling out in the Home Assistant UI and you hit submit, previously you would say something like add data brackets field thingy, something not good, which looked very technical. He polished it, which looks now nice. Now we'll tell you the string is too long or the text is too long or something like that. And it will actually show it on the right field. So if you have a wrong password, it will tell you that the password is not correct on the password field instead of somewhere on top of the screen. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And what else is interesting in here, by the way? You should definitely check out the release notes.
The refresh tokens, if you use the Home Assistant app, if you don't use the Home Assistant app, right? So this is for people that are not using the Home Assistant app at all, don't open it, don't report any data. After 90 days, you will be locked out. So this is very similar to how many other apps work. If you need like a access token that's available for a longer time, then you have to create a long-lived access token. It's in the name. That's a token that doesn't expire, that you can keep using. This is what we recommend for scripts. The ones that are being removed now are the ones that are automatically created when you use the login page. So let's say you open the Home Assistant mobile app, you log in, you throw your phone away or something, you lose your phone. That refresh token would have still existed, and now it will be cleaned up automatically.
Yep, that's good. Tuya in here, we talked about that one.
Yeah,
extensively. Utility meter, also interesting. If you have like a device that goes offline in the night, for example, some solar inverters do, you can now flag the utility meter to be always available, regardless if the source device that is monitoring is going offline. That's pretty nice. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. This is actually based on like something that happened in 2020, if I remember correctly. Didn't they close it down like a whole bunch of devices from?
Yeah, they were removing parts of the local API for security, in the name of security.
In the name of security, yeah. But now, like, you can use them again. Like, we now support new devices, and we also support the Tapo branded devices, which is absolutely great. And this has been done by 3 people that worked together on this. So thank you very much.
Yeah, very
absolutely cool. Unify Protect has in the new firmware, some sound event sensors, which I found really interesting, by the way. It detects things like dogs barking and things like that, and they will have event sensors in Home Assistant, which is pretty cool. You can hear stuff, and it tries to find out what it is. New Jinja template function, bitwise XOR. If you're really a Ninja in Jinja, no, Ninja in Jinja,
Ninja.
Jinja Ninja, then that works. Yeah. And then last but not least, I think this one is pretty freaking cool because it just I don't know a use case for myself, to be honest, but I think it's freaking cool. The screenshot is best. Let me show you just a screenshot. So this is an image which is put into a service call or call an action, which passes in that file name, like this screenshot, and it asks to very briefly describe what like Google generative AI is seeing on this image, and it will return delivery person with packages at the front door.
That's awesome. I mean, this is like, so people always think that like large language models is purely about text, but you can actually just upload stuff and they will figure it out. It can be PDFs, CSV files, by the way. If you maybe have an application that exports CSV files, you can upload it to a large language.
Can't think of one, but
but also, pictures.
I'd love to see this at Halloween. What it describes.
Yeah.
You know.
By the way, I'm glad that ours is called Google Generative AI because Google just rebranded from Bard to Gemini. So
yes, it's now Gemini. Gemini Pro and Gemini Pro Vision is what is being used here.
Right. And then I was reading that if you have a Gemini subscription, I think it's called Gemini Plus or Gemini Pro, you use the Gemini Ultra model. So I was like, that's a bit too much Gemini, but yeah.
The Pro Ultra version plus thingy. Clear.
Yeah. So I have to admit, I haven't played with the Google models yet. I've been playing mainly with the GPT-4. But given that Google has a lot of data to train on, it sounds like there will be some really cool models. So, like I said, Mike and I were going to do an AI live stream. We've been playing with stuff. It would be cool to show some stuff. But actually, if you have things you think AI can do, things you want to see AI do, let us know. Because we are looking for the use cases, trying to define like how we can make AI hook up to Home Assistant to unlock all the use cases. So definitely, if you have great ideas, let us know. Email us at mike.hansen@nabucasa.com.
It's actually Mike Gold. Or just voice at
the voice. Yeah, it's the voice guy. Just voice at home. Nabu Casa, that works.
Yeah.
This is cool though. I'm going to try see if I can port this to use the local Lava models. So that there's local versions of these combined picture / text models.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody's saying our pronunciation sucks. It's Gemini.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
Gemini, whatever.
It's
Gemini.
probably Gemini.
Yeah, no, it's because it's Wi-Fi. Gemini.
That Google thing. That Google AI thing.
Yeah.
Well, my brother's a Gemini, so
the coolest Google thing. Yeah.
All right. So that's the Google thing. Then we talk about new integrations, which we have only a few of. We're not going through all of them. I think that would be too much. But some parts to highlight is Bang & Olufsen. Like,
nice.
That is definitely a nice one to have here. I've seen a lot of people responding to Bring, which is another shopping list app. I believe you can share with your family, and that will then bring in the shopping list into Home Assistant, which is pretty cool. Elvia brings in energy usage and imports history mostly. I think that's interesting.
Nice.
It's different from, it's not real life, but it takes up 3 years of history, I believe.
That's sweet.
Of data, and then puts it into the energy dashboard, like makes it available in Home Assistant in the energy dashboard. That's just cool. You have like 3 years of history just by adding this one. Gofi lights. I've seen a lot of people being like stoked about that one. That's local control, local APIs of Gofi lights. We like local, so that's good.
Yeah.
Home Assistant Analytics Insights.
Oh, we had a whole meeting about just this name.
Just this name, right? Yes, because not to make it confusing. I think we succeeded pretty well.
But this is actually, let's talk about analytics, because maybe people like, I'm just gonna show analytics. We have Home Assistant has opt-in analytics. We haven't talked about it for quite some live stream, so let's talk about it. Analytics.homeassistant.io. It shows you the data that people have opted in to share. So we're going to quickly go over this real quick to summarize. We may actually make decisions based on this data, right? We know how Home Assistant is being used, and it gives us a little bit of insight. But for example, also Tuya, when Tuya said, here's a newer version, it's because they were like, well, we see that 20% of Home Assistant users are using this integration, and we want to make that a better experience. That's awesome. So what do we see? 322,000 active Home Assistant installations. We're actually going to add a little disclaimer here because this is opt-in. We estimate around 1 in 3 people to opt in, which means, practically we expect to have just passed 1 million active instances of Home Assistant, which I think is really cool. But we don't have the real data, so we haven't actually we didn't celebrate it. But yeah, I think we passed 1 million active instances recently. I'm going to skip over the other colors. You can see the growth here. Winter break, we generally grow faster. Summer break, we generally grow a little bit slower. It kind of depends also. Chip shortage, Raspberry Pi shortage used to be there, right? Which made us grow a little slower. And that's over. If you want a Raspberry Pi today, you can find a place to sell your Raspberry Pi.
Oh, we should talk about a Pi in a minute.
Oh, yeah. You can see growth. You see that, things like container are relatively stable. Most of our growth is coming from operating system. And really that's happening because it's the easiest way, right? If you choose Home Assistant operating system, you're not maintaining your own Home Assistant instance. You're not doing Linux system administration. You just can focus on the home automation. The next one,
you just build dashboards and automations, and that's
right. This is the adoption rate, which is it's always great to see how fast people update right after release. It's actually, you can see it here, right? Like the amount of people that are on last month's release is 60%, which is kind of wild. So you can see that, and then there's another 13% on the release before. So you can see it slowly come back, and then there's 15% of people that don't really update. And apparently there's already 2.5% going to the new release, which is pretty sick.
Shit.
There's been a couple
of months. It's out for 2 hours.
Now, I was showing operating system being the biggest growth. It's 3/4 of our users, quickly followed by container, supervised. It's funny. You can see it easiest to install, and it gets more complicated. You get a smaller percentage of people. 3.2% still rocking the Python installations. My hat is off to you guys. Good luck.
I hope it's not on a Raspberry Pi 3 or something that you need to compile Python 3.12 on. That will take a few hours.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip over the board types. It is pretty cool. We just saw green overtaking yellow actually, which I thought was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is the distribution of countries. As you can see, we still need to do some outreach. We've hired a community manager. No, we're not for the outreach here, but there's no use in Afghanistan, but we see users all over the world, which I think is always really cool. 14 people in Madagascar, nice.
It is cool.
Yeah. All used over the world.
What I find the most interesting is that tab where your mouse is now hovering on, because this is for development purposes for us. Why is sun in there? Anyways, for development purposes, this is really important for us because this learns and teaches us where to focus on.
Yeah.
Or what not. We can also make decisions on moving stuff out, right?
Yeah. We see there's 6 users or something, and then it's actually broken. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, that might not be worth the effort at that point. Sorry for the 6 users, by the way. But yeah. I got the sun for free, somebody writes. Yeah. I want to say it's up in the cloud, but it will probably be behind the cloud, which is anyways.
So yeah, I know it's pretty cool. Well, this is the one that always blows my mind. That 22, 23% is using ESP Home. which is, I know ESP Home is awesome myself, right? But I'm glad that other people see that too. So yeah.
Somebody is asking, like, how many installations do we have in Spain? Now, well, you can just go to this address now in like the image to analytics.homeassistant.io, and you can just explore it yourself. Like, this is all public data.
Yeah, all the data is public.
Yeah, and how it works is public too. So that's cool.
Sweden, Greenland, nice. Yeah.
So we landed here.
We
landed here for an integration. Let me switch back. For this new integration, Home Assistant Analytics Insights. And what this does is like pulling data from that public analytics we have into your Home Assistant. So basically, you would enable analytics on your instance that sends out data to our public analytics. So you have like this integration that pulls the data in again, so you can monitor, like, for example, how much an integration is used. Or if you are a custom integration developer, you could track how many installations you have for your custom integration. But it's also a bit like if you enable this integration, it will then like report back on how that integration is used, which you then can pull in again for, well, it's mind-blowing. Anyways, this is pretty cool. If you want to track usage of your integrations or any integrations at all from our public analytics, that's not possible.
Do we have any users on the International Space Station yet?
I mean, if there would be any smart home software running on the International Space Center, it would be Home Assistant, because we run without the cloud. Right? Like, it's the only one.
We're above the cloud.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're ready.
The sun is the cloud service I will endorse.
Probably.
Besides Home Assistant Cloud.
Let's see what else is new. I still haven't looked up how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Malzocho.
I'm not going to try. I think that's best. Anyways, it is an espresso machine, which you can get a lot of data off. And it's also an espresso machine that is
very expensive. But does it start at 6,000 euros or something?
I don't know. This is the stuff you see in like high-end, like barista things and such. It is, but it's cool. It's cool to see it land here.
If you run a coffee shop and you use this integration and Home Assistant to run your coffee shop, please let us know. We would like to highlight that.
Yeah, and if you work with this company and you like an extra beta tester, send me a machine.
Oh yeah.
I'll take one.
Yeah, right. Well, I like coffee a lot, so definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Rabbit Air, that's cool. Air purifier, I think that is important nowadays. More important, becoming more important, which is not good actually.
Rainforest one, this is nice. In the US, there's a bunch of the electricity meters. They are using a reverse Zigbee, and the Rainforest opens this integration. So you would have to. It's a bit of a weird system, but basically, this is how US people can get real-time energy data out of their system. So it's cool.
That's good. The last one on the bottom I want to highlight a little bit, which is TrackCar Server. And there might be people in here that say like, hey, but we already had TrackCar. Yeah, that's correct. We already had TrackCar, which was highly confusing. We had basically TrackCar could be connecting to a TrackCar server, or maybe you could have installed a TrackCar app on your phone, which could directly connect to Home Assistant without the TrackCar server, which was like weirdly intertwined and confusing. So we now have the TrackCar client integration, which is the old TrackCar integration, which is just the app, TrackCar app, directly connecting to Home Assistant. No other server involved. And we have the TrackCar server integration now, which connects to a TrackCar instance that tracks other cars and apps and devices. So they have been split out. So it's not really a new integration, but it's just a split up to make clear what it does in the documentation.
People that don't know what TrackCar is, it tracks your car. It's OBD2.
Oh.
So a lot of cars have these OBD2 ports. You can buy like Bluetooth enabled of these like things you put in your port. Your car will give real time diagnostic information. It is uploaded to your phone. which then can upload it to a server from which Home Assistant can pull it with the TrackCar TrackCar server integration, or you can have that app send it directly to Home Assistant integration with the TrackCar client integration.
The server is actually really cool because it does not just support those things. It supports like hundreds of different like GPS little receivers that can directly connect to those TrackCar servers. So you can like get those like cheap GPS receivers on like sites like AliExpress, where you can put in like a SIM card to track data, and it can report directly into like a TrackCar server because it supports I don't know how many protocols, like hundreds of them.
Nice.
And then like can connect to Home Assistant again. So Home Assistant could like use all those devices, which is pretty cool if you want to like hide something in the trunk which tracks where your car is.
Yeah, nice. In case someone drives off with their car without you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
That too.
I have a minivan, so that's never going to happen to me.
Unless, right.
If my car starts, right? Long story. Anyways,
O power.
Another O power. I wonder when the last time was that there was no O power in the Netherlands. But City of Austin Utilities is now supported by O power. And Tapo, we already discussed it a little bit, but that's now supported by the TP-Link Smart Home integration, which is absolutely lovely. Integrations available from the UI. Ecofax moved to the UI. GPSD moved to the UI. I'm not fully sure what it is. I don't know. Lupus, Lutron. Lutron is good. Proximity, we talked extensively about that. And last but not least, definitely important, you can now add a time and date to the UI.
Cool.
I'm not fully sure what the use case of it is always, but still we have it. It's old. It's now available in UI.
Nice.
We have quite a bunch of backwards incompatible changes this cycle. Read through them. Some of them are related to Python 3.12. In this case, it's called WebEx themes. It's not compatible. The backend library or the library that we use is not compatible with Python 3.12. These are issues that have been reported upstream quite some time ago.
Like a year or something, right?
Yeah, that's a long time. And they simply haven't responded. So it has been, they have no choice but to disable those. But look through it. Make sure before you're upgrading, you know what's going on here.
So the reason this list is so long is because we made a bunch of changes 6 months ago, and now they're being cleaned up. So all the changes that we make that are backwards incompatible tend to show up twice, right? Like when we make them and then 6 months later. So this is the actual one that is going to remove it in some of these cases. So you can see here, deprecated in August, now it's being removed.
In this case, there are a lot of vacuum ones, so you will see this exact message a bunch of times for different vacuum cleaners popping up. This also pops up for Tuya, for example. That's one that pops in my head right now. Yeah, TrackCar as well. Well, the Tuya one is here. Webhooks is one to highlight maybe. If you have like a webhook set in your automation, in 0.7 last year, we made an option to make a webhook local only checkbox. We have been asking you via repairs what you want your automations to be, local or not local. If you have not made a decision at this point, it will be made a decision for you, and we decide at that point it will be local. So if you're not using that webhook local and it now stops working after upgrade, you can just uncheck that box again and everything will be normal. But these are those little things that pop up here.
Yeah.
All right, we have a bunch of developer blocks. Take a look at them. If you're a developer, everything's in here. Icon translations, new icons, the new climate identity features. There's a lot of stuff to look into. We're saying goodbye to 3 integrations. Facebox, it's not being used. Analytics showed it. And you cannot get API keys, so nobody could start using it. Time to clean it up.
Yeah.
Legrand Home Control, they shut down the API. It's not available anymore, but it can be used by the NetAtmo integration.
Right. So Legrand was acquired by NetAtmo, and I think all your Legrand devices have been already available on NetAtmo for a year plus, if not more. So,
yeah. And last but not least, I'm not unhappy about it. But Life 360 has been removed because they are now actively blocking third-party access, including Home Assistant.
Which I guess they didn't make enough money selling your data, so maybe they want to steer them through their app to show some more ads or whatever. But most of the features you can do with Live 360, you can actually do with the Home Assistant companion app. So location sharing, etc.
It's such a weird like service, that Live 360, because you had to pay a subscription and then your data would be sold as well, right? So they earn money from two ends, which is that's just like messed up. Sorry, I'm not too sad that it's gone, because I think people should not use it for that reason. Use TrackCar or the companion app or whatever. There are multiple options available that are more privacy aware than Live 360 would ever be. So bye, but I'm not too sad. All right, we're there. Can you believe it? Holy moly!
We almost stayed within the 2 hours.
Almost. We went over. That's one of the first things. And we didn't even talk about like weird stuff. I want to highlight a little bit the Raspberry Pi. You mentioned it quickly during the analytics thing, and it has been asked a lot during the live stream. What about the Raspberry Pi 5?
It is coming. We are testing it. The development has been ongoing. Raspberry Pi has provided us with samples before the release, and I'm not allowed to give timelines, but it's weeks, not months. But it can still be 10 weeks. But it's not like but it's coming fairly soon. We're pretty certain that the current iteration is stable or very close to stable. So
yes. So the Raspberry Pi 5 can be installed in preview right now with AHAOS, but it is definitely preview beta testing, and I would not. I must say you should not use it as a production, right? It can be disappointing if something goes south, but it looks good.
Yeah.
So it should not be out too much. We're pretty satisfied already. It's just a matter of like time and look at if everything is as perfect as it should be. We just shipped 0.11.5 or 0.6. I forgot the exact number. As Home Assistant OS, which has some changes, and we're just looking into how those hold up.
Yep. Cool. So if you made it all the way to here, please make sure you like and subscribe, because apparently you're big fans. And if you are big fans of Home Assistant, also please consider supporting us so that we can keep doing this more and more. And of course, just a reminder, nabucasa.com, click on jobs if you also would like to work full-time on Home Assistant. So there's a couple of positions open today. There will be a couple more positions opening soon as well. So definitely check it out. But I hope everybody enjoys this release. Click that update button. Let us know in the comments here, YouTube, blog, Reddit, wherever, Discord, if you like it. If you don't like it, please tell us in a constructive way.
Despite it being the internet.
To help you. Despite being the internet, people are more likely willing to help you. That's true.
Yeah. Okay, then au revoir. Bye.